podcast also brought to you by DraftKings. Go to DraftKings. Use the promo code HAM right now when you sign up. Right now, limited time, new users get a free shot at the $1 million top prize and $3 million in total prizes. Don't miss this extra special week 1 bonus. Use the code HAM when you sign up at DraftKings. Get a free shot at the $1 million top prize with your first deposit. And you want to get in our game, which is linked in the podcast, linked in the YouTube.
We linked it on Instagram. You
That's
Instagram
right.
storied. I retweeted it, the version on Insta story. I also linked in my bio. You have it linked in your bio. As of right now, we decided we're going to do – you had told me, and I had looked into this, I remember when I played in the past, you can't like manipulate. You can't just pick this is a DraftKings game for these 7 games or these 5. Or just it's either only Sunday, right, or Thursday, Sunday, Monday.
Right.
There's only –
correct.
So if you're going to go all in, you have to include the Thursday and Monday game. The Monday game's not the issue. I think we had talked about it's more for Thursday, which does feel a little bit like golf, right? We are used to starting matches that start on Thursday. The difference is the meat of the schedule is on Sunday. And sometimes in football, unlike golf, like especially this year with the COVID list, like what if a quarterback gets placed and you already have your lineup set? That will feel kind of shitty. And does kind of feel inevitable, right? Like you take Josh Allen, you have to make your lineup on Wednesday night, and then all of a sudden come Friday.
The other thing is
you imagine that a quarterback gets it this year, a starting quarterback? It is a small percentage of people.
I mean, they've done a pretty good job with the bubbles-ish. So, yeah,
I do think
think
quarterbacks make a lot of money. They're pretty high-level guys. They're pretty focused.
But it can be totally like I think Fred Warner checks all those boxes, and he got it, right? So
yeah.
I also think maybe in other weeks, because this week it's 4 fewer games if you only did Sunday because it doesn't include Sunday night, and there's doubleheader Monday night, right? So maybe in another week we would do a Sunday only, and it would only be 3 fewer games. But in any event, we made this game bigger than we've made any game. This is the first ham football game. We did golf majors that were big. The PGA Championship, we did $20 a person, 150 people. This is $20 a person, 200 people, top 15 win money.
What did you say the winner gets?
720? Yeah, something like that. So,
and first place in the PGA Championship we did was like 670. Remember?
Yeah, I remember what third place paid.
What was that?
405.
That's not bad.
So, look, people ask us this, and we say it all the time. Share it with your friends. We want your friends to get in it. Get in our league, the Haber Middlecoff League, and let's fill this game up, and let's get rolling here. So we're not going to talk about every position. We'll talk about this more as the podcast goes on over the course of the week. But we thought we would just talk about quarterbacks to start with. Maybe we'll talk about defense too. The most expensive quarterback this week is not Patrick Mahomes, John. It's Lamar Jackson. $8,100 playing the Browns. Mahomes is $7,400 playing Houston, obviously. $7,000 for Russ. How about $6,900 Dak and Deshaun Watson, who just got paid? So those are your top paid QBs
I do think that some of the names you just listed add a running element, right? Lamar can throw 3 touchdowns and run for 2. Deshaun and Dak at any moment could bust off longer runs, right? I don't view either one more passer than runner. I think Josh Allen falls in that category.
Yeah, although he claims he's going to run a little less, but
he's, I think Cam Newton is one of the bigger wild cards this year. Like I think we're unsure how good their team's going to be, but there is no question that when he's on, like he can be a potent fantasy player, right?
Yep.
I think Tom Brady is one.
And he's playing Miami's defense. Do with that what you will. I don't know.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you say he's like one of the great fantasy wild card guys of all time, just given like his offense is loaded, but they've only been really working together for about a month, even though Tom probably done a bunch of secret workouts over the summer when he wasn't supposed to. I mean, we know he did. So I don't know. Like if you told me Tom Brady, I could see 5 touchdowns against the Dolphins. Who are they playing? The Tampa Bay?
Tampa's playing New Orleans.
The Saints. Yeah. So 5 touchdowns feels strong. New Orleans good. Let's say 4. He has 4 touchdowns. Or he throws 1. Like I could see either side. Like, I don't think he's a lock to just go nuts week 1. Do you agree there?
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah.
I actually think he's a little riskier than he is a return on your investment.
Maybe,
And
but
I think Lamar is going to get a lot of play. Like
I'll tell
Josh
you,
Allen's a guy that I like this week.
I think
Not to give away my lineup, but
I think Brady might be a guy that if he doesn't go big week 1, would be a good week 2.
I agree. I remember their schedule was a little hard, if I remember correctly. It's like Denver.
Yeah.
Maybe is that week 2? But
no, they got Carolina week 2.
that's a good game for him. Like I would say, like I like Jimmy Garoppolo certain weeks. You know, all the wide receivers injured. There's a lot of question marks. Who's going to play? I'd say stay away from him. Dak would be a guy this week playing the Rams. Besides Jalen Ramsey, you go, well, who does Jalen Ramsey take away? Well, let's say Amari. He's still got CeeDee Lamb and Gallup, right? I mean, that's and Zeke can catch the ball, and just Dak can run. Like that, I'd say Dak's a pretty good play week 1, given the Rams defense is pretty questionable.
Yeah, I like
in the secondary.
I like Russ week 1 at Atlanta. Now he's the third most expensive quarterback in DraftKings at $7,000. Again, I don't know if I'm picking him yet. I haven't nailed down my lineup, but I would say that's a guy I like who is expensive, but to me, I feel like probably delivers for you, particularly in that game.
I don't hate Matt Ryan either against that. Like, their secondary isn't exactly LOB, and their wide receivers are good. I guess they got Hayden Hurst, who they traded for the Ravens. I think the hardest part to me about just looking at the lineup and looking at the games is just there's never been more unknown, right? There's been no preseason games. The media access hasn't been like, there's a lot of chemistry here. There's not a lot of – we don't really know. I would imagine there are some quarterbacks and offenses that have been shitty might be strong, but just have been off, on a coach and a quarterback standpoint, but they don't really have to talk about it. So there's a standpoint of if the normal buzz of like the 2 preseason games, I'm just going to use this for example. Let's say the Falcons offense has been really up and down this preseason. And all the reps Matt Ryan has got in the preseason, he had been really bad. I think we'd be talking like maybe their offense is off early on. We don't know that. It could be Seattle. It could be any of these teams. Cam Newton. If you tell me Cam Newton is just terrible game 1, like that's believable. If you tell me he's great would be strong. But if you tell me he runs for a touchdown and throws 2 and runs for 80 yards and throws for 250 yards and racks up a lot of fantasy points, like I can believe you, right? They're playing Miami.
Do you want my extreme value pick? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that final point there.
Miami, right? New England.
New England's playing Miami. Yeah. I've got an extreme value pick for you. $5,400. Okay, this guy is cheaper than Justin Herbert. He's cheaper than Jameis Winston. Mitchell Trubisky. Last time he played the Lions, last year, I just looked it up. 338 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I don't hate it. There's a chance. I already have my quarterback set in stone. I might make a change just because I might be able to get an extra like a Zeke or a Kittle on my team.
Because the rumor is that he is starting, right? I don't think that's official.
No, he's in now. They announced.
Okay.
He's starting for.
So there you go. He's the same cost as Foles this week.
Yeah, he ain't expensive. That's how much did you say he costs?
54, cheaper than Herbert.
What? And Herbert's the backup.
Herbert's the backup. He costs the same as Andy Dalton.
Are you a believer in doubling up, like going Brady and Gronk, or going Josh Allen and Diggs, or doing Jimmy Garoppolo and Debo?
To me, it depends. If there's a matchup I love, then yeah, I am a believer in it. If it's
I've been burned by that strategy before.
If you're getting
you can get a double whammy burned.
Like, who's a team that's great on offense, doesn't have a great defense, and you tell me Kyler is you're telling me the Cardinals are playing him, and I can get Kyler
and Hopkins
for
like a total of like $13,000 between the two of them.
Now, would I do that against the Rams? Probably not, right? Because Hopkins has got Ramsey on him. But
to me, the only way you do it right is with stars. Like if you like Matt Ryan and Julio, you like Tom Brady and Evans, or whatever the matchup is. Like I don't like doing it with like because I do think you can talk yourself into, well, if I love Mitch this week, I might as well take Allen Robinson, right? If you think he's going to go for 3 touchdowns, you might as well take his best receiver. But then you start going, well, the only reason I took him was because of value, and it turns out he doesn't he has a shitty game. Or if I tell you Nick Foles starts week 2, you're like, I bet this is a disaster, and it can backfire on you fast. And honestly, it can when you go big on if I go Matt Ryan and Julio, Well, one, let's say Matt Ryan could have a big game, but he could throw to other guys, and that can screw you, right? Now, you could argue it'd screw you if you just took Julio alone,
To me,
but at least you kind of spread it out.
the time to do it is if you like the receiver matchup, because you know who the receiver is catching the pass.
You know who the guy has to throw it to.
Yeah, like the
or
quarterback,
you know the guy
he
that's
might
throwing
throw
it
it,
to
like you said, he might have an incredible game where he throws to 4 different guys. But what do you think the AB points was the game against the Raiders when he had, what do you have, like 17 catches, no touchdowns? What was that fantasy day like? It's like 281 yards. What was that day?
Yeah, I think it was 17 catches, 281 yards. Probably not as crazy huge because the touchdowns,
Somebody should tell us what it was.
I bet there are games where a guy has 10 catches, 3 touchdowns for 120 yards that are bigger than that because you do get more points for touchdowns, right? I do think you get bonuses in DraftKings. It doesn't happen to me often because I miss on more picks than I hit on. When you get like a wide receiver or running back that like you get like an extra 5 points when your running back rushes for 150 yards. So you have a wide receiver that catches 200 yards. Like there's a huge bonus for milestones like that.
Yeah.
A quarterback that throws 400 yards. Because to me, are you looking at week one just a normal week one, or just expecting weird shit to happen?
Well,
Like
I think don't you think every week one weird shit is what happens?
In general, and when you say now more than ever, where they haven't practiced live reps against other teams because of no preseason, there's just going to be a huge level of unknown. There's going to be an amp up where there's just a nervous level to week one. But no player in the NFL has seen another player, right, that's not on his team. At least during the preseason as a starter, you just line
not
up.
Unless
and you
somebody got traded or cut. Like the Raiders have seen Lynn Bowden?
Yeah, but even that, like, it's just one individual. It's not a whole unit, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. All I know is get in our DraftKings game.
Yeah.
Use a promo
Do it
code
now.
HAM. Get in the game.
Get in the game, please.
Are we allowed to say
Do
that?
it now.
Get in the game?
Yes, get in the game immediately.